Ladies and gentlemen, the truth is that Dr. Burke and Dr. Yang saw the same person, but they treated completely different patients. Neither physician lied to you today. Both told you that they performed a standardized set of physical examinations. And you've seen that the only reason that the treatment the doctors prescribed differed was that Mr. O'Malley responded very differently to the tests performed by Dr. Burke than the ones performed by Dr. Yang. Now I want to take this time to thank you for being here today, and thank you for paying close attention to the evidence presented and the testimony that you've heard. You have the most important job in this courtroom. Dr. Burke is a respected physician in this community. He's dedicated his life to service at Flory Grace Hospital. And it's your job today to determine whether he should be held responsible for the injuries George O'Malley suffered. Now you've heard opposing counsel talk a little bit about the burden of proof. They have to show you first the standard of care expected from an emergency room physician. They then have to show you that Dr. Burke breached that standard of care, and as a result, George O'Malley suffered injuries that he would not have otherwise sustained. Ladies and gentlemen, the plaintiffs cannot bear that burden today. They cannot do so because Dr. Yang is not similarly situated to Dr. Burke. You heard Dr. Yang testify. He said that he is only called to the emergency room when an emergency room attending doctor, such as Dr. Burke, has already determined that there is a potential injury to the neck or head. Of course it would be negligent for Dr. Yang to show up in an emergency room where someone has already determined that there might be a neck injury and not further investigate that. Of course it would be negligent if Dr. Yang didn't take the x-rays he took of George O'Malley. Dr. Burke's practice is much more fast-paced. He works in the emergency room at Flory Grace. Every day, thousands of patients come in needing emergency care, sometimes in life-threatening situations. Dr. Burke explained to you that he cannot order x-rays and CT scans for everyone who comes in. Mr. O'Malley came in exhibiting no pain, no limitations in range of motion. He responded normally to all tests. And out of an abundance of caution, Dr. Burke still ordered a CT scan of Mr. O'Malley's neck. There was no breach here, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, Dr. Yang took the stand. He sat right here, and he told you that if a patient showed up in his emergency room in the same condition that George O'Malley showed up in Flory Grace's hospital, he wouldn't have ordered the tests either. He would have done exactly the same thing that Dr. Burke did. Now, ladies and gentlemen, when you go back to your jury room and you're deliberating, you can have a look at these hospital records. I encourage you to take them and compare them. Look at the differences in George O'Malley's condition. At Flory Grace, he presents with a pain level of 1. At Mercy West, an 8. No limitations in range of motion versus extreme limitations in range of motion. Severe pain, no pain. George O'Malley was not the same patient at Flory Grace as he was at Mercy West. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're looking for a reason that the two doctors prescribed different treatments, Look no further than George O'Malley. He was the person both doctors saw, but he wasn't the same patient for Dr. Burke as he was for Dr. Yang. And therefore, ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you find our client, Dr. Preston Burke, not liable for the injuries to George O'Malley. Thank you.